let's talk about something that, as someone who's taken a bunch of microbiology classes, kind of scares me. That is being septicemia. That shit scares me. So, septicemia is the phenomenon of when you have a bacterial infection, the bacteria enter your blood from a place that they're not supposed to be, and then they get into a place where they're not supposed to be even more. Let's say you have an infection. That infection normally started in your lungs or in your stomach or something. It's normal, it's all good. But then the bacteria decides, no thanks, we're gonna change locations. And it gets into your blood. And blood goes everywhere. So, by getting into your bloodstream, that bacteria basically has a freeway to the rest of your body. And that is something you don't want. So the actual entering of bacteria into your bloodstream, that is called septicemia. And that leads towards sepsis, fuck me. And sepsis is very bad. It is almost always life-threatening, and if you get to the sepsis stage, then there is around a 50% mortality rate. And then sepsis leads to septic shock, which is basically your body going, no thank you, and causing your blood pressure to drop abysmally low. Because your body is basically like, no, we're out, you're on your own, goodbye. So kind of the only really way to treat sepsis and septic shock is to, keep the patient alive with, fluids and nutrients and stuff, but also just pump them full of antibiotics and hope the antibiotics work faster than the bacteria and clear the infection before it kills the patient. Sepsis can also happen very quickly, and the symptoms can be kind of missed. So if it doesn't get treated quickly enough, then you're basically just fucked, because the bacteria have gone everywhere. So sepsis can occur with things other than bacteria, like viruses and fungi and all that. Those can cause sepsis, but the most common causes are bacterial infections, and the most common bacterial sepsis causes are very common types of bacteria. So some of the most common bacteria that cause sepsis, septic shock, all that are E. coli, Staphylococcus, and Streptococcus, which, if you know anything about microbiology, you know that those are some of the most common bacteria found in, throughout the human body, and some of the most common, sources of bacterial illness, as well as things like Staph aureus being some of the most common causes of hospital-acquired infections, and some of the most common bacteria that develop into superbugs with a lot of antibiotic resistance. So you see why this shit kind of scares me, because very common bacteria, very common infections, antibiotic resistance, and a condition that is very, very difficult to treat. So, here you go, have fun with this information.